Hello, I'm Adrian Clarke and welcome to the breakdown. Arsenal 3, Bayern Munich 1. What a result for the Gunners. This remarkable season continues, quite the statement win, and please do stick around. I'm going to analyse it, I'm going to give you some player ratings and talk over some of the key moments in the game. Before I get cracking though, a few of you have been in touch to ask what all the lines mean on the graphics that I do. So I'm going to keep it nice and simple. So a white line is a pass or a shot. A yellow line is a run or a dribble. Normally it's an off the ball run. Sometimes I'll do little squares. They can be in various colours. I'm just highlighting it. But in essence, that's all it is really. So hopefully it's nice and clear for you. So let's get cracking and analyse what was a brilliant second half performance. It was certainly a game of two halves, I felt anyway. At the outset, Arsenal were very, very watchful, weren't they? Obviously, Bayern haven't lost this season, or hadn't lost. They'd won all but one game and drawn the other. And they are fluid and they're complicated. You have players popping up all over the place. Kane was dropping into the deep midfield to try and receive the ball. We had the centre-backs following Marino and Eze everywhere. They were man-marking. We saw Bayern shirts pop up all over the place. And I think Mikel Arteta just set out to say, guys, keep your shape. They're going to move here, there and everywhere. And we're just going to have a little look at them. And that we did. I mean, after 20 minutes, we'd made 53 passes. They'd made 181. So it was really, really unusual. And yeah, let's have a look actually at Bayern's passes in the first half. Here you go. This is from Opta Analyst. You can go and check this out on their website. So they had an awful lot of the ball, but you see that big horseshoe shape. And really, only 3 passes in open play went into the box, and one of which was the assist, an amazing assist. We'll get to that shortly from Analyse for the goal. So, in essence, we let them have it, and they didn't do that much with it, really. Let's flip it around and have a look at our first half pass map. And look, you can see very, very few passes inside the opposition half. Down the right, well, we tried to get it into Saka, but he was man-marked. He was really, really tightly marked by Lima. It was basically did a Keown on him, didn't he? He was an absolute rash. And we couldn't get many successful passes into Saka. Although he did well, I think he got the player booked and he held him off quite nicely. But look, very few passes inside the final third. And obviously you see the assist there, and there was a chance as well for Declan Rice. There was a lovely little pass inside the D, wasn't there, for Eze's chance. We'll get to that shortly as well. So it was a really interesting first half. The second half, we changed it. And I said at half-time on commentary, I said, right, that's been a really interesting tactical chess match first half. Now let's get stuck into them. Let's be assertive. Let's be powerful, dominant. Let's see what they're made of physically. Are they as fit as us? Are they as willing to track runners as we are? And let's go and press them and ask some questions and get in their face. Let's not let this opportunity pass by. And that's exactly what the team did. I'm kind of guessing that Mikel Arteta must have come up with a similar message to the players, and we pressed higher, we pressed with more aggression, and we got ourselves up the pitch as a result of pinning them in and suffocating Bayern Munich. Here's our pass map in the second half, and as you can see, we've jumped up. There's loads more passes inside the opposition half. Still not a lot in that central portion. It's quite empty, isn't it, in and around the D. They defended that zone very, very nicely, but we got into the final third much more, and yeah, we created some fantastic chances in the second half. I thought it was an awesome second half display from Mikel Arteta's men. Really, really strong and forceful. It was full of belief. And we basically locked Bayern Munich out of the game. They did pretty much nothing. Harry Kane, he only had 30 touches in the match. He only had 2 touches inside the opposition box. 0 shots. 0 chances created for Harry Kane. And he's a brilliant player, but we completely nullified him. Let's have a look actually at Bayern's second half pass map. And this is really telling actually. Look at that. Absolutely nothing down the left. Down the left to Jurien Timber again, locking down that side. But nothing in the box. Not a single successful pass from Bayern into our box. It was an excellent second half performance and one that really did assert our authority. Right, let's run through some of the goals. There's not a lot really to assess in terms of the first goal. It's just an outrageously good delivery, isn't it, from Bukayo Saka? Perfect weight, perfect direction, perfect trajectory. What I will say is that Timber on the way in, as he runs across the face of goal, gives Neuer a little bump, and I don't think he's recovered from that. He's not fully balanced, and then he tries to make amends, comes for the ball, and it's awful goalkeeping, and Timber gets to the ball first, and it's a classic Arsenal set-piece goal. In terms of the Bayern equaliser, I mean, it's world class, isn't it? It's absolutely brilliant. Here, we'll freeze it here where Kimmich has the ball. And whenever a player has the ball under no pressure, they've got time to look up, you've got to drop. Okay, you can't hold a line, you have to drop. And unfortunately, Miles Lewis-Skelly doesn't drop quickly enough, and Kimmich plays the ball over his head to Elise. You see there, Carl, the eventual goal scorer, is already spinning. He's about to play that pass. He's already spinning to get into that zone between Saliba and Mosquera. That's really clever from him. And obviously, he gets on the end of a fantastic first-time volley. And it's a picture-perfect goal. I find it hard to criticise Miles Lewis-Skelly too much for that. It's just sensational play. In that first half, we did have a chance through Eza. Beautiful touch, wasn't it? And then he in a little nutmeg with on Upamecano. Merino gives it him back, and then we'll freeze it here. What a chance this is! I think 8 times out of 10 Eza scores there. I don't know whether he was looking to pass it to Saka or whether he's opening his body up to put it in the bottom corner, but he got it wrong, unfortunately. But he did have a brilliant game, and he has a part to play, didn't he, in some of our other great moments in the match. For me, the game changer, the star man, wore the captain's armband late on, didn't he, when Bukayo Saka went off? It was Declan Rice. Just a truly outstanding performance from Declan. What energy he's got, but what sort of on-pitch leadership skills he's got as well. He was the driving force. He was the one pressing high. He was the one stealing the ball. He was the one making those vertical runs. By the final whistle, he'd create 3 chances, 1 assist. He'd had an amazing run and shot. We're going to look at that. He had the most touches of any Arsenal player, the most passes. He'd recovered possession 5 times as well. So let's look at some of his best bits, shall we? Declan Rice. What a season he's having. Here's the first one. It's a ball into Madueke, who does ever so well. He did great when he came on as well, I thought, Madueke. And he nods it, he controls it and just flicks it into the path of Rice, who's already on the move. And as we roll it on, look where he is when he gets the ball. It's the halfway line, but he keeps going. He knows there's not a pass on that's a better option than him taking the shot on. And he's very unlucky. It's a great shot. It's a brilliant save, actually, with the legs from Manuel Neuer. So that, I think, really lifted everybody. Over set pieces, he was great as well. Have a look at this. Bayern Munich just was so edgy, weren't they, on corners, free kicks. They were all over the place. Look how high they've held this line here for the in-swinging free kick. And that makes it, I used to have to take these, and it makes it really difficult. You've got to be so precise. You kind of almost got to take a bit of power off it, because the people who are coming to attack the ball have got to run further because the line is held so high. So you have to take a little bit off of the pace of the ball to give players time to get there. And it's got to be perfect, and it was. Look at that dip it, curling ball, bounces off the turf, and Mosquera is really unlucky. It's another good save, actually, from Manuel Neuer with his hands. I thought that Merino was a big threat. We'll get back to Rice, by the way. Merino was a big threat throughout the game. Obviously, a lot of the time from set pieces. He had 4 shots. I want to highlight this moment, actually. This came from a recycled set piece. And Saka gets it, as you can see. And I want you to look at Zubimendi there, who's right next to Merino. We've created a 2v1 at the far stick. And Zubimendi, the smart player, really intelligent, really aware, he's acting as a blocker, like it's a set piece. He's got there, the right side of Lima, and he knows that if he blocks Lima, Merino gets on the end of it, and he does. As you see, it was a good header. He had to generate the power himself, unfortunately, and he couldn't quite do it. Look at this Rice corner to Mikel Merino. What they did, and you'll see it in a second, what they did, Bayern, because we put all the players at the far post and run across the 6-yard box. What they did, they put all their zonal markers really deep, sort of in the middle of the 6-yard box, to try and stop us doing it, to try and make sure there was no space, so that we had to sort of go into the goal net almost to do it. Now, Timber obviously got away with it in the first half, but they thought they were being clever. But look at this. What they've done is just leave Merino all on his own. As you can see, that zone full of black shirts, but Merino's just going to attack it. He does, and he's really, really unlucky not to score with his header. Right, second goal. We've got so much to get through in this particular breakdown. Let's get to the second goal, shall we? And it's an absolute peach, and it's brilliant for Arteta because he's just put Martinelli on the pitch. He's just put Calafiori on the pitch. That left side improved massively, I have to say. Calafiori did an amazing job on Analyse, who'd given Lewis Skelly a lot of problems. Martinelli comes on and he's sharp. And of course, Madueke goes over to the right side. And as you know, it paid off instantly. Let's start it then with the move and how it all began. And surprise, surprise, it is Declan Rice. Upamecano tries to play a pass into Pavlovic in midfield. Rice reads it, gets there, intercepts the ball. And as we roll it on, it goes to Eza. And then it's the second phase is Calafiori. It's all about Calafiori. What a brilliant underlap that is. That is absolutely superb awareness from the Italian. We didn't really see Lewis Skelly get into these kind of areas, did we? And it helps that he's a left footer. It really does, because he's so confident in that zone and he fizzes it across the face of goal. And I also want to mention Noni Madueke. If you're a winger and you can get inside your fullback at the far post, that is kind of job done, or part one of the job done. Because that's a terrible position for the fullback. If the ball comes, you're getting there first. And he did it. And you know, Lima was a pretty obdurate opponent, and he got there and he was in the right place to convert. And I tell you what, the ball bounced up quite nastily. It was a brilliant fizzed cross, of course, from Calafiori, but it bounced up quite nastily, and he controlled that excellently, I think, at the far post. In terms of the third goal, I want to go to the very beginning, because I'll take you back. Elise's got the ball on the right. We're 2-1 up. They're pressing us. They're looking to make something happen. He dribbles. Kind of almost goes past Calafiori, which didn't happen very often. And who's on his inside covering? It's Gabriel Martinelli, the winger, covering his fullback. Brilliant, diligent play from him. Elise runs into Martinelli, and we'll pick it up here with this screenshot. Here he is. He's won the ball, and he just flicks it off to Mikel Merino, who sees Eza nice and early. And then you see Eza received a pass here. As we roll it on, look where Martinelli is. He's instantly spun around and surged up the pitch. He knows there's space to run into. It's a perfectly weighted pass from Eza. And Neuer comes out and he's banking on Martinelli letting the ball bounce. And he gets a thigh on it, doesn't he? It's his right thigh. Whether it's deliberate or not, I'm not sure. But it was a lovely touch, as it turned out, from Martinelli to take it past Neuer, and he runs it into the empty net. It was a magnificent goal, and it crowned a very, very special second half performance as far as I'm concerned, because Bayern Munich are an elite team, and the way that Arsenal sort of watched them first half, saw what they were made of, and then stepped on the gas, went through the gears, and outplayed them with the ball, but also outplayed them physically and mentally. You know, they were gone by the end, long before the end. That's going to give the team so much belief. I think it will give them belief that they can absolutely win the Champions League. So yeah, a very, very memorable evening at Emirates Stadium, and we're saying that quite a lot at the moment, aren't we? Right, let's round things up with some player ratings. I know a lot of you like sticking around for this. So let's go through it. David Raya, 7, didn't have a lot to do, but was fine. Jurrien Timber, fantastic again. Serge Gnabry didn't really get a sniff down that side. 8 for Jurrien Timber. Saliba 8, Mosquera 8, didn't put a foot wrong. Harry Kane did next to nothing. I thought Saliba was really assertive. I thought Mosquera was calm. So yeah, the pair of them did excellently. Miles Lewis Skelly, I'm going to give him a 5. I think he really struggled in the game. It was a tough one. Thomas Tuchel was watching in the stands, so badly timed in that respect. He's up against one of the best in the world in Elise, but he just doesn't get quite tight enough. He's just a yard off of markers sometimes, or wingers sometimes, and that allows them to go past him. And he's not electric in terms of pace, Lewis Skelly, but he's learning all the time, and he will get better and better. But this was a difficult evening for him, and I think Calafiori sort of really showed why he's number one when he came on. In midfield, Zubimendi was a solid 7, a good performance. Rice, player of the match for me, main man, with a 9. Saka 7, felt for him because he had such a chaperone, but he did a good job for the team. Ez at 8, some beautifully weighted passes, some lovely, lovely moments. Trossard's a 6. He wasn't on very long before I got injured. That's a real shame for him. I hope he doesn't miss Chelsea, but it looks like he might. Marino, 7. Very smart performance again. Maybe could have done better with a couple of headers that he had, but he was a constant threat and he was intelligent. The subs, good marks for the subs in this particular game. Madueke, definite 8. He was lively, scored his first goal for Arsenal, and I thought he was terrific. Calafiori was brilliant. At least they really didn't do anything after he came on, and of course he got forward really well. Martinelli's an 8. That goal was magnificent. And Odegaard and White came on late on, and I can't really go beyond the 6 because they didn't really get too much involvement. But it was a tremendous night for the team, a tremendous night for the manager. He was vindicated, I guess, in going pretty strong, other than the Trossard injury. And it just puts us in a good mindset, I think, for Chelsea away, which is a bigger game, no doubt about that, Chelsea away. But I'm just really confident in this team at the moment. Whether it's home or away, I believe they can go and win whoever they're up against. And I expect Arsenal to win at Chelsea. But look, I'll be back to break that one down next Monday. So yeah, look out for the live commentary on the Arsenal app or the website. That's where I'll be covering the game, so you can listen in if you like. But yeah, other than that, I will see you next time. That'll be after the Chelsea game, where we'll break it all down once again. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.